Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Boss Rush Podcast, a great place to play games and be better. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Deering, and alongside me, as always, is that retro code, Eddie V.
Batman is the best. Hello, everybody.
Also joining us is
your worst take
is the wise man's cut tonight, Mr. Jesse Douglas.
I agree. Batman is the best.
Y'all are all about that Zack Snyder.
Do y'all know what good movies are?
Oh my gosh! In the bottom right-hand corner of your screen is not Justin Bieber. It is Logan Corkins.
What's up? But I'll take maybe if that helps. I mean,
I don't want a copyright strike, but maybe next time.
Corey, you'll always be in my heart.
I know.
And I'm not talking the movies. I'm talking just in general. Batman's better.
Joining me to my left here is Exodus 803, the PC muscle race, LeRon Dawkins.
How's it going, everybody?
It's a full house today, gentlemen. It is a full house. I had it all set up for 4 people and then forgot Jesse was coming on. So I had to reset it up for 5 people. How's everyone doing?
Pretty good. It's a Saturday. Thank God. Thank God. I've had a long ass week, so it's about time.
Now, am I supposed to referee this Spider-Man argument right now?
Okay, hold on. Wait. Stop.
Is that even enough?
Ed, hold your tongue for 1 second. Hey, stream. I'm just going to warn you right now. There may be a slap fight that's about to happen here because someone's about to come out their face and say something they have no business saying about Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse.
I've got my snacks. I'm just going to sit back and watch.
All right, Ed, get started.
So, this is one of the problems that I have with this movie and with Into the Spiderverse and even with Harry Potter. Is that I understand that you guys have these powers. With Harry Potter, you are at a school learning wizardry. There was too much running away. And it's just like, try something. Make something work. And I think it's because it's already animated and scripted out that way.
It's called kids being scared, man.
Dude, the kid's like 14.
But
He doesn't know how to use his powers quite yet.
But this is the thing. This is the thing about it. Try something. Like
He does. He gets up on top of a skyscraper to see if he can do anything.
Let me ask you the question right now, Ed. Think back to a time when you were a kid and you were scared of something. How did you actually have the stones to try something?
Ed's never afraid. Ed's not afraid.
Okay.
Ed's sitting there in the corner with his Batman costume.
I'm not talking about an imaginary fear.
Ed's Black Batman.
I had a fear of going upside down on roller coasters as
Black
a kid.
Man.
And because it was just like I always had a fear that I would fall out or something. But I kept my eyes open. I started riding more roller coasters with going upside down. As a kid, as a 5-6-year-old kid, I was scared of that. But I tried it. And I forced myself to keep my eyes open.
That's not a tangible fear, though. That's
true.
When you're talking about the stuff that Harry Potter, Hermione, and Ron were going through, you're talking about the stuff Miles Morales has had to go through, in the movie. This is something completely different. This is life or death, and not just his life or death, but everybody else's life or death. And he's got these powers that he has no idea how to properly use. You got to remember, he was bitten by a radioactive robotic spider.
Yes.
And then he had to acclimate to that. Also, on top of the fact that his uncle is a bad guy.
And that's why I said, because this is already scripted, it kind of felt like everything almost felt the same plot point by point, that he continues to run, he'll do something, somehow he'll escape or get away, and it kept happening in scenes, and I was just like, this has to change. You can't.
There's nothing wrong with the human being succumbing to their flight instinct on fight or flight. There's nothing wrong with that psychologically.
But that's the whole plot, though, is that at the end he does have to face his fear. He does have to take that risk, and he does, and he ends up winning. Like, he realizes that the courage inside was all he needed. And it's freaking perfect. It's such a great.
It is. Problem. I love that movie.
But that's the problem with me, is that I guess when there's movies that you are in some place that is, if you don't try anything, or it feels like you are directing, or it's written that it feels like you're not trying anything. It to me personally, it bores me. And if I'm seeing it over and over and over in a media, in a film or something, I get bored of it. It's just like, okay, do something. Like, whoever not wrote or animated, whoever thought it was just like, okay, we need to do this as character development to build up this character, so when it gets to the end, he recognizes something. It feels like you didn't have no kind of creative space to even let that protagonist to do anything.
Maybe okay.
But
So
put
it
yourself
sounds like go ahead, Logan.
Put
go ahead.
yourself in Miles Morales' shoes, right? So he just goes to a new school where
I
he
would
knows
love
no
to.
one.
Those Jordans are sweet.
Those Jordans are sweet, yes.
Yeah.
His dad is, embarrassing him on his first day. Like, going to a new school just in and of itself is a really traumatic thing for a kid who, had friends and had a whole life that he was really comfortable with. Okay, so you do that, cool. Then he finds out that, hey, my uncle is kind of a really bad dude. And maybe he's trying to figure out, no, there has to be good within him.
Pause. And right after he got those powers, he actually watched the Kingpin murder Peter Parker.
Exactly. This
Right
dude
after
went
he got those
it would take like
powers.
3 years of therapy to even get close to figuring it out.
So right there for a 14-year-old kid, he's immediately sitting thinking, I just saw Spider-Man get killed. I have powers just like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I'm going to get killed.
I haven't even gone through puberty yet. I mean,
and not gonna,
I
not
can't even
gonna
ask
understand-
about the
and
chick.
at that point in time, I can understand him getting away, and doing what he needs to do.
What's happening? Who's got a dog?
See, even Jesse's dog is mad at you right now, Ed.
But I think, it just kept. This is just me personally. I said, when I just see stuff like that over and over in movies, I get bored. I get bored of it because it's just like you didn't create no kind of. It feel like you didn't create no kind of choreography moment for this. You didn't try to do anything that's gonna keep people who want to see the movie, like who wants to see action and stuff, because it's a comic book movie. It's a fantasy thing.
That's ultimately what the problem is. You were looking for the money shot as quickly as possible. That's the problem. And here's the thing about it, because I actually write fiction, so
fan fiction with LeRon.
I can write some good fan fiction. You want me to write Boss Rush fan fiction?
Will you?
I've written Patrick Mahomes fan fiction, but nobody wants to.
Wow.
Will you have a really great animator animate our fan fiction?
Well, go ahead, Laurent.
Yeah. Okay. So what a lot of writers, because this is what happens for the most part. What a lot of readers have to struggle with. They have to struggle with actual things that make sense on a psychological basis. Because if your character is like an instant hero, you're already going to have a section of the hold on. You're already going to have a section of the audience is like, oh, that's unbelievable. If you have someone that has no type of character development whatsoever, like they stay the exact same from point A of the movie till the end of the movie, you're also going to have another section of the audience is like, okay, this is unbelievable. Like something should have changed.
And I don't want him to be an instant hero. I just want him to try something. And it felt like it felt like whoever animated or whatever they planned for, it felt like he never had to try anything. All he had to do was maybe do something and escape. And it felt like every time he gets into a situation like that, it always happens. With Harry Potter, you are at a school, you got to try some kind of magic. I don't.
Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna say it right now. Did you see how many times they fucked up doing like random ass spells in Harry Potter? They're running from giant basilisks, dementors.
Ron was throwing up slugs.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And Ron was throwing up slugs when he was trying to defend himself from fighting a bully.
I mean, I don't know. It just kept feeling like.
It's been a while since I've seen Into the Spiderverse, but I guarantee you, when you're saying like he needs to try something, I guarantee he tried something at least once or twice in the film and fucked up.
But he did, though. I mean, he followed the other Spider-Man around so much, and he was trying to learn these new skills. He was trying to learn how to be Spider-Man, and he was trying to push the other guy to be like, hey, or he was trying to push Jake Johnson Spider-Man to be like, hey, you know who I can be. Help me get there. Because everybody needs those people in their life. Everybody needs that mentor to come in and teach them the best way to do it.
I mean,
So,
unless they're Link from The Legend of Zelda.
Exactly. Or, they're, never mind. There's the big moment of him trying to saying, look, I want to be a hero. I just have no idea how to do this. And I think that in and of itself is him trying. And that's him putting himself out there and saying, this is a realistic way for me to get to be the Spider-Man I know I can. I see the potential. I just don't know the path to get there.
You want to know? I think it's when movies when characters actually get a power and they are with a mentor, and that mentor is kind of with them, training them throughout. I won't say in a montage sense, but maybe like 25 minutes throughout the movie, before something like really big happens. I guess I have seen a lot of that, and it feels like that character has grasped onto that, or something.
Can you guys talk a little quieter?
Jesse, you're not muted.
Oh, I'm not?
No.
No.
Oh. That's weird.
Oh.
Well, okay. Yeah.
Something like
Jesse just told us to shut the hell up. That's what that was.
No, the kids are talking.
Oh, no.
I guess it's just me seeing that when there's been people who like get a new power or something, they do get a mentor. They spend 25 minutes of the movie of them learning, and some of that stuff sometimes come into play. That I'm so used to it. I think when I feel like most of those action parts that happen, when there's a whole bunch of running and it feels like nothing is being done, like you're not trying. And I understand he's not thinking on his feet. You're in that situation. It's real quick for you to think like that and be able to react. I can understand that.
This is gonna sound like I'm attacking you, and it's honestly not. But I think you failed to grasp the fact of the plot was his path to becoming a superhero.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like it's not really a movie about a path to become a superhero if you actually get everything right in like the first half hour of the film.
I don't even, like I said, I don't even plan on I don't even want you to get stuff right. I want you to try something. I don't care if it's a failure. I don't care if it works. Try something. That's all. And I felt like in most of that movie, he didn't even they didn't animate him to try anything. So that's all me. That's all I can say. Wow. That's the end of my portion to say. I felt the movie was boring. I fell asleep at it. Maybe I need to go back and try and watch it again, but I'm probably gonna fall asleep again because
you know what? Here's something cool. We're gonna ask the audience. Hey, audience, what do you guys think that for Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse, the movie was a boring enough film to where like Ed's actually justified in that, or do we understand the dynamics of the storyline, saying that it was a path to a superhero thing? Hit us up in our Boss Rush Twitter, or hit us up in our Gmail, and let us know what you think. And we'll next week we'll actually say something about this if we get enough of a response.
Boom.
Welcome to episode 80.
Yeah. I enjoyed what I watched. I was just.
I thought it was a wonderful movie.
And I have it on Blu-ray, so I'll just try to watch it.
It's definitely got a cool.
Obviously, you feel like you wasted your $30.
I paid $20 for it.
Okay, you feel like you wasted $20. You probably.
I watched it on Netflix when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if it's still on there. If it's gone, I could just pop the movie in to watch it.
It's still on Netflix. It came across my feed after I finished my seventh binge watch of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
It kind of sucks though, because
a good show.
Disney's never gonna have the Spider-Man movies on Disney Plus, and like I don't know, I feel like that they're missing something there,
Yeah.
Because of that, because I mean those movies are so integral to the MCU that it's just like,
Yeah.
I don't know. So, we do have a question before we start the show.
Shane in the chat was like, "Did we watch the same movie, Ed? Do you need to drink a White Claw before you rewatch it?"
Oh wow!
In other words, you need to loosen up. That's what he said.
Well, the thing is too is there's so many things going on in that movie that
yeah, there was like 7 other Spider-Men that invaded his universe at the same time.
There
animals talk?
There was just a lot of character building going on in there, so Like, yeah, because you know, I remember so many people complaining about the newer Star Wars movies because she could, you know, like learn how to use her powers like almost instantly, and then you know people were upset about that. But you know, at the same time, it's like I get why you do certain things just because you know you've got to kind of at some point move a story along, especially if you got a whole bunch planned after that. But
I have a fundamental problem with the Star Wars movies. Like when they put them in the brackets of trilogies, like they just have to hurry up so many different parts of the plot. It's insane. So you know the fact that Rey like was able to grasp her powers so quickly in the Force Awakens, that didn't surprise me at all. Honestly, it didn't because Star Wars has its own problems with storytelling, and I love the one shots better, like Rogue One, even Solo.
Yeah.
Like I can't believe it, but I enjoyed Solo, and that was a movie I tried to avoid like the plague.
yeah,
The
thing is with movies, like I try not to let myself get to that like point of like the fandom where you're critical about everything. So like I honestly I enjoyed all the Star Wars movies. Now the episode, what was it, episode 1 or whatever, wasn't, well, you know, those ones weren't my favorite, but I do like the super cut that someone made where they put all the most important information of that whole trilogy all together to just make one long movie.
Wait, we're talking about the prequel trilogy or the original trilogy?
The prequel. Prequel trilogy. Yeah, I mean, I've went back and watched the original trilogy, and you know, those movies are fine, but I'm just so over all that stuff. I'm ready to move forward with everything. Like, cause I just don't have, there's certain thing, or most movies from when I was younger that I loved. I just don't have that like nostalgia thing where I think that nothing can be better than those original things, you know. For most stuff, you know, like I mean, obviously, like I would be weary of them trying to make like a new Goonies movie or something. I think that that original one was so perfection that you don't even bother touching that.
Aren't they making
Wait,
another
is there a sequel coming or is there a reboot coming?
I
don't know.
I heard that what's his name?
I'm not.
I don't know. I've never seen the Goonies, but like what's his name?
It's a
sequel. It's a sequel. It's like their kids are going to look for the treasure now.
Oh, okay.
It's basically what Ghostbusters is doing.
Yeah, and honestly, that doesn't bother me. It's if they try literally rebooting it, where they're like trying to recast the same, you know, the same characters as the original and trying to recast it. Mm-hmm. Like that kind of stuff I don't care about. Like even the Ghostbuster movie, I actually enjoyed the women's version Ghostbuster.
That one was good
for what it was, but had they, I think I actually prefer that they did do it with women, because had they tried to recast and do, you know, the characters as being those ones from the original, I probably wouldn't have liked it as much, because it just, you know, like that's not really what I want.
There were too many comparisons of the old movies.
Yeah,
I mean there already were.
Right? There were before the movie even came out.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of troll stuff going on. You know, situations going on there. I think there were a lot of people that were just mad because it was women, and you know, all those kinds of things. You know, that obviously people like to complain about, but you know,
Yeah, so the moral of the story is be like Jesse. Don't be a toxic fan. Let people enjoy their stuff.
Yeah. Plus, like, let's be honest, all the stuff that we loved when we were kids, the new stuff is made for kids. It's not made for us, you know? I mean, they try to generalize it to make it right, like, but it's for a new audience. It's for a new crowd, you know? It like the next Ninja Turtles movie is never going to be as good as the 1990 Ninja Turtles movie to me, right? Like it's just never ever going to be. Although I did like the Michael Bay produced ones. I thought they were pretty good.
They were okay. They were okay.
The second one was awesome. First one was like
And the new Free Willy movie is nothing compared to the original.
I didn't know there wasn't.
I didn't know they did one.
Those Michael Bay Transformers movies that don't hold a torch to the movie.
Oh God, no.
So,
to Transformers the movie.
There was that really dumb DC movie called Batman versus Superman. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's just trash.
I know.
The only DC Universe movie I saw was Wonder Woman, and I was like, oh, so they put a woman in place of Captain America. That's
you know what?
Yes.
Except for she's better. She'd be able to
Whoa.
Wonder Woman 84 is awful.
Whoa.
Well, no, the movie is not. I'm talking about character-wise.
Wonder Woman. Oh, and while we're on the subject of Wonder Woman 84, like it's one of those. Like take it from me as a person that likes action movies, and superhero movies, and stuff like that. You only need to watch this movie once. It has rather.
You don't even need to do that.
No. People should watch it just because. But honestly, like the movie.
It loses
I
itself.
will say this. If
It's
you
like-
love The Mandalorian and you love Pedro Pascal, you will come out of Wonder Woman and be like, are we sure it's the same guy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's not good.
Yeah, you're talking about the new one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't even watched it. I listened to spoilers and I'm like, I'm kind of glad I didn't watch it because
Kristen
because
Wiig
there's-
is awful.
What's
yeah,
that?
and what was that?
I would say Kristen Wiig was awful in it.
Oh, actually, Chitara.
Yeah,
They wrote her character in like the most.
Well,
I wonder
that's the
if-
thing is there's a lot of things that they just wrote like
Did a lot of that movie get delayed and reshot?
No.
No.
You got reshot twice, didn't it?
Well, all these DC movies seem to get reshot at least twice.
Because
But I think what was really jarring about this movie is the fact that as far as all those DC movies go, like the original Wonder Woman movie was so great, and when we hear that the same director and production team were going to be doing the sequel, we're not expecting like the same exact movie, as far as like the quality and stuff, but we were expecting to have the same entertainment, and a lot of our time was spent like trying to figure out like what the hell is going on in the story. Like I've seen the movie twice, and I'm still like, okay, I have questions.
Yeah, well, there was
the
no.
first 5 minutes of it is better than the rest of it.
it's probably the
whole
script.
the trial.
It's probably
Well,
the script and rewriting of the script, or someone at DC, the heads of it. They probably were
Maybe
showing
they
parts
shouldn't.
of it.
Maybe they shouldn't have delayed the best movie coming from the second best superhero of all time, Batman. They shouldn't have delayed the Batman because that's like the only DC movie I'm looking forward to.
I mean,
Well,
okay, so let me ask you this though: how does Marvel continue to just hit it? I mean, Marvel's misses. Let's like the worst of the worst in Marvel is like what? Thor: Dark World.
I already have an answer for this question. You haven't even asked the full question. I already have an answer.
But how does Marvel hit it so well, and then DC? Oh man, we're getting ready for Justice League and Justice League. Oh, that was a movie.
Here's the answer. They have Marvel has a production talent team that actually knows their universe. When I say knows the universe, they know, because this is why I feel like the X-Men franchise has pretty much been like a flip-flop disaster. Like, like for the most part, we know for sure that they have people who are actually tied into a lot of the MCU stuff that actually have familiarity with the Marvel properties. Now, when we look at the MCU stuff, we look at all the MCU stuff, even the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the Daredevil, the Netflix shows and all that stuff, these are completely unique stories. They barely have like 10% of the DNA from the source material, but they still understand the characters and they still write very well constructed, crafted stories. They do, and it works.
So
Yeah, their shows. I don't really like their shows. That I didn't like any of their shows. I like that's the thing. Like I don't like it's the opposite for both of them. Like for Marvel, I like the Marvel movies. I didn't really care for most of the shows. Like WandaVision is probably the first one that I actually am really enjoying because it because it's doing something a little different that
it's also the first
that's more interesting.
It's also the first show that's developed by the same studios as the movies. So
yeah, and then DC like, except for like The Dark Knight, I did like the Joker movie that recently came out. That was really good.
I did.
I don't care for as many of the movies, DC, but I loved all the shows. Like I loved Flash. I loved the Supergirl and like all those shows, even though they were on the CW or whatever. I enjoyed them, but I feel like those people that were doing that actually were following more of the comic book stuff, and the people working on it actually knew more about the stuff, like and were doing it right.
So Logan, to answer your question, like for me, I think DC is great at the animated movies. And
their animated movies are second to none.
But those you know what's crazy though? Almost all those animated movies though are following the same plot line. There are some that differentiate and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, they're all still following the same path. And we have Jim Lee to thank for that. Because when he came out with Justice League, not Apocalypse, the one that was basically a rewriting
Dark.
of the
Justice
first
League Dark.
No, not Dark. No. I'm
Dark.
talking about, it was the one that basically like brought the Justice League together and introduced Darkseid, because that was a retelling of the first 6 issues of the New 52 Justice League comic. Yeah. And after that movie, everything else seemed to kind of go along with that path. Even the Young Justice cartoon is kind of going with that path.
And I think the DC animated world, like with their TV shows and the cartoons, a lot of people really love that and stuff. And Marvel just been able to hit it off in the movie, the movie world, because like you said, around the production, the writing, all of that just fits well and everything. And when you get a good director, of course you're gonna bring out a good movie. I think DC's movies are trying to go so much for some kind of stylized comic book thing, but it doesn't work for
them. Here's the main problem with DC. Here's the main problem with DC's movies, the DC universe movies, is the fact that there's no real cohesion. The only cohesion they have is like, hey, like it's all supposed to point back to like the Justice League. But beyond that, like they still let the story writing do whatever it wants to do and stuff like that. And it can't work if you got all these different properties and they're supposed to make the ensemble cast for the main feature titles. They still have to follow like a set path. I mean, like look at how all these comic books have been doing it for decades. Like every comic book, even though like X-Men is different from Avengers is different from Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is different from the Hulk is different from Moon Knight. All this stuff. Ultimately, though, whenever something major goes on in the universe, all those comic books get in line and go in that parallel direction.
It's for some film viewers, they don't know all about that.
The film viewers don't have to know it. That's the thing about it. The job. That's the job of the directors and the producers. They have to make sure that it still goes a set way. But no, everybody's being all willy-nilly about it, and oh, you know what? At any time, Wonder Woman can drop out, and all of a sudden it's her and Aquaman or something like that. Things like that. It's like the Wild Wild West for them. Oh, go ahead.
It's like such a testament, because like when Marvel was coming out with, what was it, Winter Soldier, the collapse of S.H.I.E.L.D., at the same time Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is saying, hey, look,
hit that, yes,
freaking hit it, and they nailed it out of the park. Okay, Coulson helped figure this all out.
Yeah,
he can't tell Cap that he's alive, but he hinted at it, and like everything was going so well together, and DC just fails on that. And like DC has so many things that does great for it. I mean, their video games, I can't wait for freaking Gotham Knights. That is a game that has me hyped beyond belief. And their comics, I love reading DC comics, but at the end of the day, I love Marvel so much more because they've given me a cinematic universe that I love and that I genuinely want more. Like Phase 4, cool. We're not getting an Avengers movie? That's fine. Build all these cool origin stories. just continue on the great path that they've been on for the last decade.
I think
The last thing I want to say on this topic is, as far as I'm concerned, is the reason why, in my opinion, like Jesse probably didn't appreciate he didn't like the actual like Marvel TV shows, is because they committed a cardinal sin. All those Netflix shows ignored Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They ignored it. And
yeah, because I did like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
So
I
good.
didn't keep up with, like, I don't know, I didn't get a chance to finish it, but I think I watched through season 4 or so.
Oh, you got through the best season. Oh my
Such a
god!
good show.
Oh my
Such a
god!
good
The Agents of Hydra season and the Element season,
Yeah.
Ghost Rider. That is in my opinion, that's the best season. But and I feel like every season, starting halfway through season 1 has been great. I feel like it, but man, like it's.
I know definitely for me, I grew up watching Batman, the TV show, like the old ones, the color ones, like after Star Trek and Gilligan's Island on Fox. And I guess I have been growing up watching so much DC stuff, watching the old Supermans, watching the Michael Keaton Batmans and stuff like that, is that I get excited seeing that. I didn't jump into Marvel until the X-Men cartoon show. I knew about the comics, but I was so into DC. If I picked up anything, it would be DC related, besides Spawn. And that was more because of the artwork when it came to the comic books. I felt like DC's artwork had something that spoke more to me than Marvel at that time. I think right now, I love going to see a Marvel movie. I love going to see a DC movie. I think when I look at a DC movie, I look at certain shots that is done to express the mood that they're going for. So I look at it at a cinematic film. When I see a Marvel movie, I kind of look at it as like fun popcorn kind of movie that's going to be an action thing. I don't take anything serious with that like I do a DC movie. If I see a good shot in a DC movie, I'll point it out. If I see a good shot in Marvel, I'll probably point it out, but then I'll just forget about it. And so but that's just me personally, and that's what I gotta say last on it.
Yeah, I'm like, for me, I'm just looking forward to, I hope we get some more Iron Man movies and stuff.
Yeah,
because Iron Man
Ironheart.
has always been my
Ironheart.
Yeah,
Ironheart's
yeah,
fun.
Iron Man has always been my favorite Marvel character.
If you looked at what they've been doing on the comics lately, they recently gave a what's her name? I can't remember her name. Young African American girl.
Riri Williams.
Ruby Williams is now Iron. Is it what? Iron Woman? Is how they're calling it? Yeah.
Oh wait, it was Ironheart, but I guess
Ironheart. Yeah, is my apologies. Yeah. And that is such a cool comic book storyline. I mean,
Tony Stark is like her mentor, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah.
Did it just come out?
But yeah, a lot of it is
the Ironheart's been going on for like 2 years.
It's been going on 2 years. They've also been trying to do I think they're trying to test out how they're actually going to do Ironheart. Like they've been giving her messages that she's finding in like old Stark tech that was left for her, and it's really, really cool. I mean, I personally think that the way that they've set it up, they should do that with Tom Holland, because Tom Holland has that huge connection to Tony in the MCU right now.
Yeah, and you know, Happy's kind of like taking him under his wing.
Right, and so like he could be the next Iron Man.
And see, I enjoyed the new Spider-Man movies. I enjoyed those movies. I like those. Even the first one, I definitely enjoyed.
Compared to those Amazing Spider-Man movies, yeah, the MCU movies are the best.
Yeah, Andrew Goldfarb missed, but it wasn't necessarily his fault though. Too, he had some weird directing in each of those movies, but
I didn't love those. I didn't even watch them.
I liked the first one.
I didn't love Emma Stone in those. Emma Stone was bad.
I'm not a big fan of hers, and she has a Scarlett Johansson problem, where she gets cast for parts that she should not have.
Yeah.
It took a while for Emma Stone. I think when she was doing some early stuff in the 2000s and stuff, I think that's when her popularity grew. And I think that's why people started.
I think her popularity grew after Superbad, because everybody liked her because she was different than most of the love interests of people in comedies. You know?
Yep.
So.
All right.
Good talk.
That's our
Good
comic
talk.
book. Our comic
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, we are nerds.
35 minutes later.
Nerds.
comic books.
Y'all thought y'all were here for video games? Nah, gotcha.
Well, guess what? We're going to spend another 20 minutes talking about something other than video games because Greg Osterman III writes in. He says, since it seems like I'm going to have to find a new place for food questions, here's my question. It seems to be making the rounds on social media, so what is your favorite style of pizza crust? Deep dish, thin crust, stuffed crust, other? Explain yourself.
So
Now, first off, Greg, if you really want food coverage, there's an idea. We'll talk about it. Boss Rush Entertainment. Maybe April. Maybe April.
Leave
For
it
me,
to Logan.
For
Yeah.
me, it's like stuffed crust. I like eating stuffed crust.
And feel free to continue writing your questions in because Boss Arsenal X will continue. But
Go on our Discord, Greg. If you haven't found our Discord, go to our Discord. We have
For
Snack
real.
Tender there. Everybody posts their food pics. Everybody posts their favorite recipes. Go there, do it. A lot of good discussion on our Discord.
Yes. Yeah. So stuffed crust is for me. I like having that cheese at the end of it and biting into it when I get done with my pizza. I do like.
Or stuffed crust. What's great about stuffed crust is you can eat it in reverse.
Yeah, that is true.
Yep.
I do some deep dish, but like Uno's deep dish, I really love. I like to get down with thin crust. I'm not feeling because it literally reminds me of like doing
Oh, God.
communion.
Logan,
So-
stop it. Stop.
Uh-oh. What's that, look, Logan? What
I
did
said,
do?
it already had the worst take. You keep saying Uno's is the best Chicago deep dish.
No,
Come
when
on, man.
it comes to deep dish, I do Uno's because they don't around here in my area. They don't have deep dish.
In Chicago?
In not Chicago. Outside of Chicago, there's not a lot of places that do deep dish at all. A lot of places in my area actually
You don't have a Geno's?
Nope. They got rid of it.
I'm gonna say my hot take is that Little Caesars makes a better deep dish than Uno's.
Ooh, oh my God! Do you love yourself?
But you know what?
Love yourself?
But you
Oh
know
my-
what? But you know what, Logan?
Really?
Ever since Uno started selling their pizzas and stuff, their deep dish pizzas at stores, that's what I go to and get.
Oh, store bought pizzas always taste different from the restaurant pizzas. Store bought
Right.
pizzas have a different
I
quality.
give Uno's a lot of shit just because that's. I grew up on Geo's, so like Geo's to me just sets that bar so high that Uno's. I mean, it's not bad, and I'm sure if I went to Uno's today, I would like it a little bit more. But like, I just
guarantee-
grew up on Geo's.
I guarantee you.
They just have some really good buttery, flaky, deep dish crust that
Yeah.
like I like Geno's too, like and all those other places, that are popular in Chicago, but I don't know. I do like Uno's. Like I like their crust better, but I think overall I like Geno's East like better. Like I like their pies better,
Yeah,
which I call them pies. Those are not pizzas; they're pizza pies. Like
I
think that's where that originated.
we had a lot of Uno's, Uno and Pizza Hut and Domino's and stuff like that. But for my area, a lot of people who were doing like pizza were doing thin crust, and it was like a lot of family-owned restaurants. So we didn't have really big names and stuff with it. But
People like that crunchy thin crust.
I'm
though.
gonna keep it simple. I'm gonna keep it simple for my answer. It's thin crust. There's something about a cracker that basically is a pizza, and I love it. And but also I'm one of those people, like I get really weird. As much as I love breads and stuff, like sometimes the crust is just too much for a pizza. Now that being said, I do throw down on a good pan pizza, and Logan's probably gonna like talk some crap about me right now because I love Domino's pan pizzas, especially
they're really good.
Especially a double pepperoni pan pizza. That's the. Well, no. There's
nothing wrong with it.
This is coming from a place where Pizza Hut had like the greasiest freaking pan pizzas.
Exactly.
It's like you eat two slices, and like if you have a family history of high blood pressure and stuff, you're breathing heavy after two slices. Things like that.
Yeah, I literally stay away from Pizza Hut. I do not like their, especially like
Something's
it's
happened to
just
their
too
crust.
greasy for me. It's just too greasy and stuff for me too. And like there is a point where too much grease for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's they're super greasy and like their pizza is so thin, like with all the toppings on it. It's,
You know what?
like
There-
your crust is like this and your pizza's like that. It's like
That's the other thing too.
I
You can ruin a pizza real fast if you have like a mediocre crust, but you have like 19 toppings on it. You can really ruin a pizza fast.
I think Pizza Hut was a big thing to me back in the 80s. Right now, I just get it if I feel like it, or I feel like,
honestly,
or something.
honestly, the
I
one
don't
thing
think I'm-
that they have that I wish more places had is like I wish they had the salad bar, like because
Yeah.
like that's the one thing that I liked about Pizza Hut is the being able to go sit down, have some pizza, have a salad, whatever, and like you actually feel like you can get your money's worth that way, but otherwise, yeah, I just
used to drink their Pepsis a lot at Pizza Hut.
Yeah. Yeah, if it's so okay, here's where I go. Yeah, Pizza Hut I think is the worst of like the big chain stuff. I've never been able to get into Pizza Hut. If I have to go with like a fast food style pizza, yeah, Domino's is decent. Their pan pizza is not bad at all.
Domino's is my go-to
but-
for like
Yeah,
just
Domino's
like
is my
chain.
go-to.
my
Domino's is just a good go-to.
I think I like Domino's because it's dry. Like it's not it's not super greasy. It's
Exactly.
yeah.
and
That's
it's just
that's why I like Little Caesars too. Like I know a lot
okay,
of
guys,
people
if you-
love to hate Little Caesars,
If you guys
but
mention Little Caesars
actually
one more
try
time,
their stuffed crust. Their stuffed crust actually at Little Caesars is actually pretty damn good.
Now,
the last
if
time
you
I
take
saw
a-
Little
if you
Caesars
have Little
pizza,
Caesars pizza
it
and you
had-
wipe all the grease off, then it's edible.
See, ours I don't have as much problem with grease.
let me tell you,
I honestly like compared to like a Domino or Pizza Hut, it's like I honestly don't have
you guys think I'm exaggerating right now, but every time y'all say Little Caesars pizza is I'm starting to look for Pepto. Like, oh my oh my god, my
let me tell
And,
you,
like,
let me tell you about my Little Caesars experience. This was probably like 12 or 15 years ago. Okay, I was with my cousin. We were like, he does a lot of eBay shopping. Like that's what he did for a job for a long time. And we would go like all over the place. And like, I would go with him sometimes just to hang out and stuff. We went to a Little Caesars in Kmart. So that's going to tell you one thing.
The
pizza-
right there.
The pizza had I couldn't tell if it was the light or if the cheese was actually green.
Ooh.
If it was the lighting.
No.
But we were so hungry because we hadn't eaten all day, so we got a hot and ready pizza and just sat there and ate the whole thing. Literally 10 minutes down the road. 10 minutes down the road, we pull off this exit. We didn't even know where we were. We pulled into a Target, and we just spent like 10 minutes just shitting in there.
everyone had to run.
And we made his friend get off the toilet and go out to the because there was no toilet paper.
Oh,
in any of the
that's
stalls.
right.
We made him go
Oh my
go
God.
to the aisle where the toilet paper was and bring it back to us. So
Wow.
it was bad.
Yeah,
I've-
see, I've
every
never
city
had
I've
any
lived
bad
in.
experiences with it, but they also can be a situational thing, like
Every city I've lived in, because I live in a metropolitan area, so we've got seven surrounding cities around me. So, and every city that I can touch, by spreading my arms out, I have yet to have a situation with Little Caesars where it didn't. The only thing I get at least Little Caesars these days is just the crazy bread. That's the only thing I get. That's the only. I do not go there for the pizza.
I would eat Little Caesars if someone else is buying it. I would not walk into a Little Caesars at all. If you're paying for it, I'll eat it. I'll have one slice and call it a day. Other than
Honestly,
that, no.
honestly, my favorite though that we have is we have a Jets pizza here, and so I know that's a little bit more on the greasy side, but it actually it's at that like exceptional point where it's not too much.
There's
but
a time
like
and a place.
their turbo crust stuff is like with all the seasoning and stuff on it, it makes it so much better. It's crazy how good that stuff is.
To me, the best overall is just anything New York style. I love a good New York style.
Yeah.
Something I can fold, something I can eat with one hand.
For real.
New York City ruined pizza for me though. Like anytime, it's just like when my wife and
New York City pizza.
Yeah.
New York, actual New York pizza. Okay.
Yeah, when my wife and I went and we would get like $1 slice or whatever, it's just like any pizza from New York just ruins all other pizza. Every other pizza I've had since I've had New York pizza is just okay. Period.
I've never had New York pizza.
There is something magical to just walking around Central Park with a slice of pizza. Like that's an experience everyone needs to experience in their life.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Anyone does Papa John's or
no?
No,
they put their toppings under the cheese like animals.
Yeah, the only time that I've ever enjoyed Papa John's is my sister's fiance and a bunch of friends would work there, and they would just let me make whatever kind of pizza I want with whatever toppings on it, and then they would just bring it home, and because they would make it as theirs that they could bring home. And so we didn't have to ever pay for pizza.
Yeah, because I don't know like commercials or anything for Papa John's. So.
Oh yeah, they have a PR disaster they're trying to deal with.
Well,
still.
Shaq's their spokesperson now, so there's all kinds of commercials around here.
The only thing I really like about Papa John's is I love the banana their
the banana peppers. Yep.
Yeah,
those are good. But I mean you can get those anywhere, so that's but.
The only pizza from Papa John's I get the time of day is a Hawaiian chicken barbecue pizza. That's the only one. That's the only one I get the time of day to. And I know people are already having the visceral reaction because there's pineapple on it. But that's the only one I give credit to them for because I'll be honest with you, like they screw up their crust so many times. Like like the crust is like it's like they don't put enough baking powder in their crust or something, and it's always tough. It's like I might as well ate the box that the pizza came in.
Mm-hmm. Are they one of those two that put that like cornmeal stuff on the bottom of the crust?
That's Domino's. That's Domino's. Domino's does that.
Yeah.
I like that. See, I like it because it makes it dry.
But I don't mind theirs. But I think it was just some of the DiGiorno pizzas. I think they do that with, and it just isn't. I don't really care for it as much, but.
It's funny because we had a Crossroads talk about pizza, and we talked. If I remember correctly, we talked about what makes the perfect topping, what ruins a pizza instantly, and what's your go-to store brand pizza. If I'm not mistaken, those are the three questions.
You did burgers this week, but
we did burgers. Yeah, we did burgers this week.
I think last week you did the pizza one.
No.
Pizza was
back in December.
Oh. By the way, so like mine, I do like stuffed crust as well. But I'm also from Wisconsin, so the more cheese on a pizza, the better.
Yeah, I might have to find somewhere who does New York style because no one does it around here. So I might have to actually go to the city and see who does it.
A lot of places I feel like they're. Yeah, honestly, like New York style is just basically like a regular pizza, but a little bigger. Thinner. I mean, because if you believe the whole theory around why New York pizza is better. They say it's because of, the crust, the water, it depends on all the ingredients that are being used to make the crust. And if it really was a actual water thing, well, then supposedly you wouldn't be able to have it. The crust tastes as good unless you're literally getting water from New York. But
I was thinking we're going to talk about like the leavening process of the dough or something. We're talking about the actual water.
But don't you've heard? Haven't you ever heard that?
I heard about that.
The reason why the crust is so good in New York is because of
the water.
I have never heard that. I've never heard that.
I've never heard that either.
Yeah, people say that all the time. Like, oh, the reason is because the water that they use, the water is what makes the difference.
That sounds so New York and New Jersey to
Yeah,
hear people
exactly.
say
I don't
that.
know. I used to work at Domino's, and we
New
never
York
used
is
water
just
to make
pretentious.
pizza with.
What do you mean? You don't use water to make dough?
I don't know. The dough was already there.
Well, there you go.
I
he
worked
just-
at
he just- he
Domino's,
just-
dude. I didn't
he
work
just-
at like Papa
Yeah.
Giorgio's homemade
Well,
pizzeria.
Papa John's makes all their dough like
No, they don't.
fresh. Yeah,
I
they
don't
do.
care.
My
how
cousin
you
worked
make
at Papa John's for 10 years, and they never once made their own dough. It came on a truck.
Okay, well that's weird because our at the
Sure, a lot of these pizza
the one that
places-
my friends worked at, they did.
A lot of these pizza places, they can't really afford to do it. It depends on how jumping your side of town is. Like hey, if the franchisee really wants to make hand rolled dough,
Yeah.
Right,
The
yeah.
place by my house called Dewey's though. It's like premium pizza. It's like $20 for a pizza, but they're like these huge pizzas. They hand make their own dough, and it's the best pizza in town. But you're paying for it,
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
so,
my
Same
favorite-
here.
so Corey, I got to
Same
bring
here,
$20
we
when
have
I
one
come.
that's- Yeah, the same here. We have like some that are literally, I'm not kidding you, it's like $30 for like a 16-inch.
Yeah. It's like $21 for their Don Corleone, which is like it's got pepperoni, ham, salami on it, and like a bunch of cheese on it, and then it's we usually get like a barbecue chicken pizza also. Oh, it's so good. Their barbecue chicken pizza is so good. It's got corn and black beans, kind of like a mixture on it with some.
Okay.
Oh, it's so good. It's really good.
I love a good BLT pizza.
I like
A
I like a
I like a
good
good
cream.
BLT sandwich.
Yeah. Sandwiches are good, but I think pizzas are better. BLT pizzas are better.
So Corey, I'm bringing $20 extra for pizza.
You better bring
when I
like
come.
$70 extra.
Oh,
you
I'll
owe
have-
me.
You'll have to pay for the pizza, and I charge.
Corey
you.
knows I would pay for it. Corey knows how I get down.
Do you want me to hand this piece of pizza to you, Ed? That's gonna be $10.
Yeah. So anybody play anything? Anything fun?
Yeah.
Logan's absent because he said a storm knocked out his power. So he may return,
Oh,
he may
snap.
not.
Oh
Oh,
crap!
I'm not sure, but until then,
Yeah, I can start. I've
Great,
been playing,
start.
I've been playing. Okay, so I got my new PC, a laptop actually, for doing stuff for the shows and things like that. But it's an actual gaming laptop, so now I could actually use Game Pass on PC, and so I went and I downloaded a couple of games just to kind of see how it looks and stuff. And so I played a little bit of Hellblade on it, just to kind of just to see. That's a good game to test the graphics and and see how things look, and and it ran pretty good, looked pretty good at max settings. I probably need to turn some of them down because there were little tiny hiccups with with frame rate, I think, but yeah, I mean it looked good though otherwise. But what I actually, before we started the show, I downloaded it as well, Mech Warriors 5.
yeah.
Because that's in Game Pass on PC, and so I was playing that, and man, I'm so rusty when it comes to playing with a keyboard and mouse and stuff, because that game you can't use a controller to play it, I don't think. And so that was having fun, trying to get used to doing that, and and on top of it, that's like the worst game to try to get movement and stuff down with a keyboard and mouse when you haven't done it in I don't know, probably like 15-20 years now or whatever, since I've actually played a good game on legit PC with keyboard and mouse. But yeah, that game is so fun, and I've never played the fifth one or the fourth one. I think the last one I had played was the third one. Mech Warriors or whatever 3, I believe it was. So, but yeah, so I was enjoying that. It's a good game. I like mech games. I haven't played like a legit one on PC and like literally forever.
I'm pretty sure the last time I played a mech game kind of seriously was Mech Assault on the original Xbox, I think.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yes. Yeah, same here. That's the last time that I played one seriously.
Unless you want to count Titanfall.
Yeah.
Nah.
Titanfall's amazing, though.
Titanfall is like definitely a more easier to get in, like to do, because it's literally your mechs are just basically big robots that you're controlling like a normal first person shooter. Whereas like the Mech Warrior games are like you gotta turn your torso and your legs, and they they operate individually and all those kinds of fun things. So that was fun. Like not playing a game on PC in a long time and then trying to screw around with that, but I eventually started getting the hang of it. So yeah, I played some Cyber Shadow.
Oh boy.
And
I downloaded it on Game Pass.
I really want to like this game, but they did the thing that I really hate. Like, I don't mind if you want to make it look like a retro game, but then on top of it to act like you only have 2 buttons on the controller is just annoying. Like, oh, I want to make it, like we literally have like these really good new controllers for a reason, because they're just better than the original, ones with nothing but a D-pad and 2 buttons. So why make it so you have to push a direction up and 1 button to throw something, when you literally have like 8 other buttons on the controller that you're not using? Like, what's the point in that? I get
Shovel
it.
Knight did that too, though. I mean,
Yeah,
I know it's not the same developer, but it's the same publisher. Shovel Knight did that too.
It sounds like they really were trying to homage like Ninja Gaiden from the NES, because
it's annoying. Like, just get over it.
Well, Castlevania did the same thing on NES.
Well, yeah, NES though. But that's because they only had 2 buttons on the controller.
Well,
like,
I'm just saying that like that stuff like that, Castlevania and like Ninja Gaiden, they did
we've
that.
got more buttons on the controller now. You don't need to do that. Like, that's why I have a really hard time getting into these, like, trying to throw back retro games, because sometimes they're just too pretentious with stuff, and it just makes it annoying. Like, I just make a game. You can make it look like an old game, go for it, but you've got a bunch of buttons now. Like, just use them. Like that. I don't know. I just like, the thing is like, too many people, like, I've seen too many games where they make those kind of games, but they don't make them 8-bit characters or 16-bit characters. Instead, they make them like more modern day looking. And in my opinion, those games just look so much better, the more modern day stuff. Like, I get it. I get there's a group of people who want that stuff, and that's fine. But I just feel like it seems like every single indie game that comes out is all that retro looking, 16-bit stuff. And it's just getting to the point, like, we've had in the past with shooters and stuff too, where it's just getting so oversaturated and everyone's trying to do the same exact thing. And a lot of the times there isn't that big of differences or uniqueness in what they're doing, that it just gets irritating. It's like, oh, there's another one of those. And so, like, I just wish that people would, if they want to do stuff that's more like retro, like, try to go for some of the other, genres or the other time periods of, game stuff, for nostalgia. Like, I just don't like that it's always going back to that same one thing. And yeah, I think that's the thing, is I love indie games mostly. Like, honestly, like, I buy more indie games than I buy anything else. And it's just upsetting because, like, I feel like there's just too much of the same thing coming out, like, lately within the last couple of years, honestly, where it's just always been that same thing over and over and over again. It's just kind of getting repetitive, and like, I'm just getting kind of sick of it, like, especially when we have things like I'm looking forward to, like, Tunic for sure. I don't mind that kind of stuff. Like, give me a top down, like, RPG kind of type game like that, or adventure game like that actually, makes me excited or interested in playing that style of game that I've never had an affinity for. Like, I never really got into the original Zelda games. Like, I played them, but I just, for whatever reason, they didn't really catch my attention. Yeah, like, they didn't do it for me. Like, my likes have changed, though, quite a bit since I was younger. But I mean, like, there's a lot of other types of things, like, where you can go for that retro style without having to make it, 16-bit, sprites for the characters. You can, like, make it look modern, like things like Ori. Like, Ori is probably one of the most gorgeous looking games, like, out there, as far as, like, not going for realism. And, there's just so many other things that you can do to make your game stand out. And I feel like too much, if you keep on going back to that old school retro look, I feel like a lot of times those games are just going to get lost. Like, it just, because too many people are trying to do that over and over and over again. So I don't know. Because there have been games like that I have really enjoyed. Like The Messenger and there's different things like that, but too many of them I've kind of just ignored, because I was like, there's too many of these.
LeRon, what you been playing?
The Medium. I started last night. Yeah. I was actually streaming it last night. The Medium. It's actually pretty interesting. There are parts to it that I feel like the game is slow, and it's kind of alarming for me, given that you can beat the game in under 8 hours. So I just need to get a little bit deeper into it to see what's going on with it. But I do like some of the mechanics. The main reason why I want to check this game out, because it caught my attention during the Xbox show when they were doing their games reveals and stuff for the Series X. Is what caught my attention is the fact that like everything's happening and being rendered in real time, in two different worlds and stuff like that. You have basically overworld and underworld to simplify it and stuff like that. And the fact that you actually get to see it mirrored and stuff, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get this. It came to Game Pass, and I was like, I'm definitely gonna get it for the PC to see what it's about. I'm enjoying it, but like I said, the fact that it seems a little slow, and it's not the fact that I'm like bumbling around the game, because I do like to explore and things like that. But it seems slow, and like I said, it's kind of starting to raise a caution flag for me, given that you can beat the game in under 8 hours. So
I know they just said that they made their money back, like, for the production and production and marketing. So it was successful. I think it was reported today about it. So
it's successful, but I don't always take stock in like Metacritic and stuff like that. But but I think last night before I went to bed, it has like a 73 like user score, and that's mediocre.
Yeah, I know a lot of people were. I was telling you, LeRon, a lot of people were planning to stream it this weekend. So, and I think you're the only one that's doing it on PC that I know of.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I souped up this PC, so I wouldn't be able to play these games that are actually going to tax hardware. So that's my thing. Yeah, that's the only game I've actually had time to play this week. I haven't really played anything else.
Yeah, I played the first hour of that, and I'm enjoying it so far. The medium, I'm actually kind of glad that it's not like a third person shooter or whatever. They're actually going more for like a walking sim type kind of like approach almost, where there's not really much. There's not really any combat, I don't think. It's more of just like solving puzzles and like trying to figure out more and more about the story, but it's done like the original Resident Evil games with the fixed camera angles and stuff like that. Which I think they've done.
That was kind of weird for me. That was kind of weird for me too. I was expecting more of the free camera.
Yeah, I think they did a good job of it though. Like it doesn't, like so far I haven't ran into any situations where the camera angle like messed me up or whatever. Or because that was a lot of times there was issues with the camera angles and stuff like that in those original Resident Evil games. I mean, I got so used to those that it didn't really faze me back in the day, but yeah, like I mean, I'm enjoying like the story stuff and all that too so far. I stopped right before I feel like it starts really going anywhere, because I just made a quick look of it basically on my Twitch account. But yeah, I want to get back to that. I'm gonna actually try and see if it'll run on my PC or on my laptop.
Nice.
Yep, that's it for me.
Cool. Ed, did you go? Sorry, I had to walk away for a second.
No, I haven't went.
Then you go.
Okay, so I'm playing Ni no Kuni on Switch. Because I've had it on PS3, but I didn't really finish it on that system. But I am enjoying that game on Switch. It's a really fun game. I'm liking it. And last but not least, because I'm going to keep it short, playing Cyber Shadow for Boss Rush review. I'm really enjoying this game. I've been telling people it is Konami's take on Ninja Gaiden. Because some of the character models and the look of it feels like a Konami game, like Double Dribble. And I'm like, it gets difficult when you get later on into the game. Surprisingly, you cannot duck in this game. And I'm not liking the soundtrack. And reason why I said Batman, I feel like Batman from Sunsoft on the NES is the kind of soundtrack this game needs. Like, it needs a guitar riff rocket soundtrack, and the game doesn't have it and stuff. Some people do like the soundtrack to it. I'm not feeling it though. But it's getting really good, really challenging, and it's a really fun game. So hopefully I'll have the review up later on this week. But that's pretty much all that I'm playing at this moment.
That was short. I was expecting more.
Well, I mean, honestly, there are aspects of it that I do like, but there's some things that I wish they would just have changed. But
as for me, I've only really been playing Destiny this week. I've been working on some other things and working, honestly. So that's kind of about it. I don't really have anything to say about Destiny. The new season starts in 2 weeks. I'm just grinding out, So
with the new season, what is that bringing actual new? Are they bringing new weapons and stuff?
Yeah, they're bringing new weapons.
Okay.
They're changing a bunch of things. They're nerfing a lot of the way that PC players play and trying to balance that out before crossplay comes in. So that's kind of like the big thing going on. They're changing the way reputation is earned through the vendors. They're changing the way bounties work. They're changing the way there's not going to be any more weekly bounties. There's only going to be daily bounties, and then they're bringing in seasonal challenges, which are just like during the season. They're introducing new challenges every week, but they stay there until the season's over. So like if you skip like week 3, 4, and 5, you can come back week 6 and still do those challenges. They're trying to create in-game content for people who don't either play a lot or play with a lot of people or have friends to play with, and it's kind of nice. So
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
That kind of sucks though. I like weekly bounties compared to daily bounties. Daily bounties just basically forces me to get on every day and play.
Yeah, but I mean, there's so many that it's just like.
Are they bringing the crossplay next month?
I don't know when they're bringing it.
Like they
said it's coming soon. They haven't given a specific date.
A date.
So I would guess the beginning of season 14 is when they'll bring crossplay in. Because I think they want to see how mouse and keyboard is balanced against controller players on PC first.
I think folks can get raped.
Yeah.
So that's probably what, in 2 or 3 months.
Monster Hunter World
3ish.
3ish. Okay. Because see, what this is right after the new DLC drop, right? After for Destiny. I cannot think of
What, Beyond Light? This is
Beyond Light.
This is the second season of Beyond Light. It's season 13. So
13. Okay.
Season of the they haven't announced what the season is yet, but the data miner said it's the season of the Chosen, which could mean a lot of things in the Destiny lore. So we're gonna find out soon. So, let's see here. We're gonna go to some questions. Where did my Google Doc go? That's fun. I deleted it. No, I didn't. Here it is. I found it. Maybe if Google Drive loads. What's happening right now? Everything's just like slow.
I have them up if you need it.
Yeah, I have it up if you need it.
I got it. We're gonna answer some questions, guys. We've got 3 questions to answer before we leave today.
All right, let's do it.
Coming from Twitter. By the way, if you have a question for the show, you can tweet at Boss Rush Network or email us at bossrushgamespro@gmail.com. Email address might be changing. That's a long email address. I get it. I know. Somebody commented how long it was, and I was like, okay, I get it. I know. Block from Block's Game Reviews. He was on this show. Cool guy. You should check out his channel. It's very, very cool.
Yes.
He says, Reggie recently stated on a New York Game Awards Twitch stream that the Switch was a, quote, make or break product for Nintendo after the failure of the Wii U. Do you agree? Did Switch need to be a massive hit, be the massive hit it has been? I mean, the short answer is yes, right? Because the Wii U was like just as much as I love the Wii U. I love the Wii U. I still think like in terms of what games are on it, it still has one of the best libraries Nintendo's ever produced. But that's why you're seeing them all move over to Switch because nobody bought the system.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that make or break for Nintendo proper. In the way that Nintendo views its business, I don't think for Nintendo proper, but to stay in the conversation, the same conversation that we talk about Xbox, PlayStation, and PC, the Switch definitely had to be the hit it is.
Yeah, I can agree with that. But here's the thing about it: like, I don't feel like it's make or break. It would have been make or break for them because what would happen is they would have just continued to run 3DS into the ground. Mm-hmm. You know, if the Switch,
or they would have just made a new one, a new
handheld. Well, the Switch technically is the new handheld, but for some strange reason, if no one adapted to the Switch the way Nintendo would have probably projected, they would have just continued. Because you notice it took them about 2 years into the life of the Switch to finally say, okay, 3DS is going bye bye.
The thing
you notice that They gave themselves a nice little buffer, which like Corey and I complained last week that we need more of the damn 3DS games to show up on the Switch.
I think it might have been like 2 weeks ago. But my thing with the Switch is like, I think the Wii U was kind of an experiment for them where like it's weird because Nintendo puts out products and it's like sometimes it's an experiment, and if it's an experiment that goes great, then they use it, right? Or if it's not, then they try again the next time, right? Like I think the Switch is
Virtual Boy.
I think yeah, we got Labo out of it 20 years later. My thing with the Switch is like it's the realization of what they wanted the Wii U to be plus the natural progression of their handhelds.
Yeah.
So, and with that, I mean, like, the Switch is what they wanted the Wii U to be, right? Like a game console that you could sit and play in your hands if you're watching TV or play on the TV, right? And this is just the way better version of that.
For me, I think it's the cost that they was wearing. I do agree. I don't, like I said, I don't think this is a make or break kind of product. You know, the Switch. Nintendo always talks about innovating in the games. They always want to do different things. And I feel like with the Switch, they knocked it out the park. You know, it was more of, let's prove people what we are really about. We're not just this gimmicky kind of company. We are about games and everything. And people who thought that the system wouldn't have any games, it was the games that brought them. When people realized that the functionality of Switch, of taking it on the go and playing it at home and everything, like, it was fitting a lot of people's lifestyle. Definitely for parents and older gamers. I don't think it needs to be a massive hit or anything, due to the fact that if it's a massive hit, that would mean that they would need the money in a financial sense, and Nintendo got banked like crazy. You know, definitely with Amiibos and all the stuff that they have from the Wii U. So, I think they just need to show how their innovation fits into your gaming lifestyle. And I think
Nintendo didn't need so much a massive hit with their next system. They just need to make sure that it didn't repeat the same performance as the Wii U. That was the major thing. Nintendo would have survived on their handhelds alone. And the Switch is a glorified handheld, but you know, even because I was excited for the Switch when they first unveiled it. The first thing immediately I thought about was like, man, that thing's gonna be huge, though. You know, that's the first thing I thought. You know, and so I was trepidatious about it. Also, you know, I can sometimes get buyer's remorse from buying Nintendo consoles. Like, I definitely had buyer's remorse after buying the Wii, and the only reason why I had buyer's remorse for the Wii is because the Wii didn't just have enough games that I wanted. So like, I definitely missed out on the Wii U. But also the Wii U for me was like, the design choice for the Wii U just didn't make any sense for me, and there was like no way I was gonna like spend money on it.
It definitely in that time. I'll keep going back to the financial look at this when people say massive stuff. Nintendo products continue to make the money when they sell out the box. Sony and Microsoft, when they bring out a new console, they're going to lose money for a good 2 to 3 years. I don't know how PlayStation 5 and Series X is doing.
That's not true, because they've made a profit on every single console day one since the GameCube. They've came out and said that.
What, Microsoft and Sony?
No, Nintendo.
No,
since I'm talking about. Right, I'm saying when they bring stuff out, they make a profit. PlayStation made a profit on PlayStation 4 day one.
Yeah, they did.
And Xbox made a profit on the Xbox One day one. That was their big push last time, because they thought remember that big conversation when the new consoles were coming out, that consoles were dying, especially after how not well the Wii U did at launch. They're like, oh, everybody's going to move to phones and PCs, and like, you know, the console people don't want consoles anymore. They would just want to go, and like the 3DS was kind of like in that space where like the 3DS cost $250. Nobody was going to pay that for a 3DS, right? And that's why they dropped it $80. But like, yeah, the big thing was like, we have to make a profit off these boxes day one, or just in case like nobody wants these things, you know. And that was the big push, and that's why. Oh, go ahead, LeRon.
Oh, I was just about to say, Sony and Microsoft have already said that they made their money off of the PS5 and the Xbox Series consoles. The only problem is like they have the dilemma right now because like the wrong people bought the system, so they don't have a user base for them. That's the battle they're fighting right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think.
Just
quickly, correct. I think because. Wasn't it like 360 and PS3, or maybe it's just been PS3? They weren't making money on
PS3.
PS3 was definitely like in a vacuum, and that was the most expensive console at the time.
Because the PS4
they were losing money when they were charging $600 for that console, because they had a PS3, but they also had a Blu-ray, which was new tech at the time, and then they also had the
PS2.
They had the Emotion engine
chipset in it. Yeah, they had the PS2 chipset in there. You basically bought 2.5 systems because the Emotion engine could play PS1 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the make or break system for PS3 for Sony was the PS4, and that really made them.
I don't know.
360.
They caught up to 360 at the end.
Well,
And
yeah,
like if you look at time of release to the end of the generation, like per year, PlayStation 3 actually averaged more units sold per year than the Xbox, but like Xbox dominated the first 2 or 3 years of that generation, especially that first year because it was the only console out.
Uncontended,
And so like the Xbox was just in the front of everybody's mind the entire time. Plus, like since it was built on more universal architecture, the games ran better. They came out earlier. They didn't come out day and date on PS3. I remember the big deal that like Mass Effect 2 was like a year and a half later, and BioShock was a year later, and like the PS3 could hardly run BioShock, but at the end, if you beat BioShock at the end, you got the trailer for BioShock 2. That's why the PS3 version was cool of BioShock. But like, I just remember all these things revolving around the PS3 were like, oh man, these games don't run well. The only games that run well are first party games.
Yeah. You know what? The saving grace for Sony with the PS4 is the fact that they adapted to x86 architecture, and basically that means anybody can develop for the system now. Like people complained about developing for PS3's hardware, and they definitely complained. They complained about PS2 software, but they definitely complained about hardware. I'm sorry.
Because wasn't it like the cell chip that it was hard for them to develop for PS3?
The cell engine was PS. Wait, Cell Engine was PS3, yeah, and a lot of people were saying like this is the worst system we've had to develop for since I don't even know what would have been prior, but the Emotion Engine also gave people problems too, but it wasn't as universally problematic as the Cell Engine wound up being.
And that's why I kind of say like, and then when we jumped into Xbox from the PS4. The expectation was that Xbox was going to continue to dominate, so there was going to be more money. And I think once they started talking about all the features and stuff, that kind of made a lot of gamers angry. PS4 kind of won off of that, of their bad marketing, which kind of deserved. And I think
actually, Microsoft had another problem too. They had a problem that Nintendo had faced uniquely for a while. Like they started losing developers.
Yeah. But Nintendo was always, I think Nintendo, and I know you talk about this, LeRon, that Nintendo has a loyal fan base and stuff. Nintendo as the first party company, their titles are just strong. And so even if they don't have a third party, like a whole bunch of third party developers, their first party will be able to carry them.
I mean, that's not true. We saw that with the Wii U and the GameCube.
I don't know. Yeah, exactly.
True. But you still, when you still think of Nintendo, you still think of their first party stuff.
I mean, that's true with every company.
That goes without saying, though.
I mean, you think about that with PlayStation also, right? Like I mean, I know they do marketing deals with third party to make you think of those games as PlayStation games, but when you think of PlayStation, you don't think of, Battlefront 2 or like FIFA or anything. You think of The Last of Us. You think of Uncharted. You think of God of War, Horizon. Like you think of their first party too. And I think like just on that discussion, I think that's the problem that Microsoft is kind of facing right now is like, what do you associate with Microsoft besides Halo? And like we haven't had general population says we haven't had a good Halo game since Halo Reach, but
like Forza Horizon has kind of been the lead, or Forza Motorsport in the Forza series. Has
but people
it doesn't
matter the quality.
It's not a driving factor though. Like that's the driving.
But Forza has become a big name, almost like Halo in a sense. And if Halo is.
Forza has become a big name, but guess what? No one ever walks into an electronics store and like, hey, do you have Forza Horizon on the PlayStation? Or do you have Forza Horizon on the Switch? We always get people coming in, hey, do you have Pikmin on the PlayStation? Or hey, do you have
Mario?
do you have Sackboy on the Switch? There's no. People pray that one day we can walk into a store and say, hey, can I get Halo for the PS5? Or, hey, can I get Gears of War for the PS5? People are praying for that. But, That's
Well,
that's about
You could get the Master Chief Collection
Game
on
Pass.
PlayStation at some point. There's
That-
a rumor. I mean,
And
I mean,
there's-
there have been talks that Microsoft wanted to put the Master Chief Collection on PlayStation, but
actually they want to put the Master Chief Collection on anything they can find. Honestly, I mean, and I'm not saying that to be arrogant or anything. I know they've been trying to do that because Master Chief and Halo is their most prolific title.
and like it's good marketing, right? I mean, it's why PlayStation put Horizon on PC, right? It's like free. You're getting paid to market the sequel to your game by putting the first game on a different platform years after it released on the initial platform, right? And I think that's cool too, because like Microsoft is using that strategy now with like, oh well, you can buy our games on Steam or a select few titles on Nintendo Switch or your phone or whatever, but if you subscribe to Game Pass and you have an Xbox or you use the Game Pass for PC, you get these games with your subscription. Or if you want to buy them a la carte through Steam or whatever marketplace you want to, you can also do that.
And I think that's why I feel like with the Switch, definitely with indie games and third party getting their stuff ported over to Switch, and Nintendo's first party with that, I think if the Switch just was unexpected to be doing the stuff that it's doing now.
I mean, remember the conversations we were having on Nintendo Power Block all those years ago, Ed, when the Switch was like was releasing, and like we had Zelda and Bomberman, and that was and Shovel Knight coming later, and a $40 remake of Street Fighter 2. Like those were the games we were talking about, and we were like, if this is all this system is going to handle besides first party, we have an issue here. But then, like, as I think Nintendo had that hit after hit after hit after hit that first year. And then as people were realizing the Switch could be a replacement for Vita for indie games, plus Nintendo first party, and then third party started jumping on, right? Remember our reaction to the Bethesda stuff of like, here's Skyrim, here's Wolfenstein 2, here's Doom. Like, that kind of stuff, yeah, you're sacrificing quality, but you're paying for the convenience of taking it with you type deal, right? And like but every single Bethesda game that's been out has sold over 1 million copies because of that on Switch, and just to have that portability factor. And we talk about The Witcher 3, right? Too. It's like, oh god, that game is kind of not looking great in handheld mode, but you can link it to your Steam or GOG account. You can have cross save between them, and like you can play the superior version on your PC or take it with you, right? Like that's.
And me and LeRon was talking about this because I mentioned like PC games coming to Switch and everything. Like that was unexpected and everything. I think we was chatting through when you was doing Crossroads and we was talking about it. It's just like Switch has to become a more of an unexpected kind of hit. Because people were just like, what games are going to be in the system? Or everybody had already set their expectation of making that system fail. But it outbeat everybody's expectations. So I think that's what makes it.
I don't think it's outbeating everybody's expectations. People are just being surprised by what is happening. Because I mean, universally speaking, like, and right now, technically, the Switch is like 2 systems behind now because the new systems are out now. The Switch is just, but also Nintendo also has a reputation, like their hardware is underpowered. When it comes to mainstream gaming, their hardware is underpowered. So like all these games, like The Witcher and all this stuff, like it's a surprise that the games are playing well. They look halfway decent and stuff like that. So that's the major draw. And so like it's like Nintendo keeps coming around the corner and like popping you in the stomach real fast and then running back to its corner. It's surprising you.
Yeah, and I think
I just wanted to say, like, and with the question and what he had said in it, that about what Reggie said. When he said that it was make or break, I don't think that he meant like for the whole entire business. I think he meant just for like whether they were going to continue doing consoles anymore. Like I could see them just going.
I don't see them.
Well, no, I could just see them doing handheld.
No, I don't.
The thing too is like
if
they
the
were
one thing that they think would work didn't end up working, then what would they might feel like, what's the point then?
well, look at all these other
Nintendo-
different
well-
experiments they started doing, right? Like
Yeah.
Amiibo, Labo,
Yeah.
you know, some of these
Ring
other
Fit.
yeah, like some of these other initiatives that they've been doing, like that was in preparation. I feel like, oh, the
Yeah.
Wii wasn't a hit. Our company's kind of, you know, taking a downward slide. If our next thing doesn't hit, we got to be prepared to change our business model. And that's why a lot of people were talking about, oh, will Nintendo ever go third party? Which like they like it's hard to talk about now because like the Switch is huge, right? What 67 million units have sold in 4 years? Like that's huge.
It's been dominated for 2 whole years.
Oh, you know,
So
hold
it's
on,
just
hold on.
like-
Hold on, Corey. I kind of garl up in Pal Block's peanut butter on Monday night because they touted that, and I was like, that's the most bloated number ever because I know people who have 4 Switch systems in their home.
I'm aware, and I know people have like there's 2 in each house, like 2, 3 in each household, right? Like
Yeah.
like okay, last gen, whoever didn't buy a PS4 or Xbox One, you know, probably wasn't getting one at that point. You know what I mean? Like I get that those numbers are kind of bloated, but it's still like when you look at the actual numbers, they're still pretty impressive in terms of
Oh yeah,
sales.
it's impressive.
Yeah, I know where you're coming from, and I agree with your side too, LeRon. Like I think like, oh, let's tout the last 2 years because console sales of the other 2 are down because everybody already owns one, and the new consoles are coming out. But like what they've been able to do in 4 years is not impressive.
I mean,
Yeah.
to me, it is impressive because of everybody. Everybody thought everybody thinks that gaming is just Xbox or PlayStation. Every time
See,
something
I don't
gets
think so
announced,
though.
No, that's not true
But-
either. That's not true either. Like
but-
no, because Nintendo still is a name in everybody's mouths that are gamers.
Yeah,
It is.
but-
You know, and maybe except for PC gamers. I mean, you know, PC gamers are a really arrogant bunch. Like the the console is just is peasant gaming for them.
But a lot of people think when the biggest titles are coming out, Nintendo's name in the past was never attached to me, and of course, they didn't have those developers. Right now, it kind of seems that when the game comes out, everybody is saying, "Is it going to be on the Switch?" That hasn't happened to Nintendo in years.
Yeah, I think you're saying that because you're still mad about the Mass Effect.
No,
the
Mass Effect. but there has been a lot of times that big name games that came out, and some people have asked, "Is there a Nintendo Switch version?" You know, and it's surprising that when a game that is a big name that does come to Switch, people will at least try to pick it up. You know,
So they have a reason to play their Switch. Unlike me.
because
That's it too. I had a phase where it's like I need to start buying some games for the system, or I just really wasted $300. I had that. But I've had that problem with damn near every Nintendo system I've had since after the GameCube, because the GameCube I bought games for because there was games they had that were coming out that I wanted for the GameCube. But
GameCube was amazing.
for the Wii, I had to sit down and like, I need to buy some games, or I can't, or I really haven't justified me spending the money, you know, on this system. The Switch had that problem too. The 3DS didn't have that problem for me.
And that's LeRon. When we'll move on to the next question. When I said that a lot of people who buy a lot of games or do a lot of the big gaming on Xbox and PS4 and PlayStation, I think now they do it on digital because there was a lot of digital sales. With Switch, it's kind of like a mixture of both, of people doing physical and digital, and even imported. Like when Switch first came out, PS4 and Xbox One also had region-free stuff, but nobody was importing stuff on those consoles. People were still importing stuff on their American Switch for Japan. So I think that's like kind of the unexpected stuff with Nintendo. I think Nintendo themselves wasn't prepared to see that these sales would be happening to their product like that. Nintendo has always been making money, whether you like it or not. They have money in the bank, and even if people think that the Switch will fail, they got 10 billion yen in their account, still ready to go to restart their whole business.
Just to real fast, just go back to what Jesse was saying for a moment. I think the one thing I agree with you on is that if the Switch did the same performance as the Wii U did, Nintendo would have definitely pared down on all the gimmicky stuff, and they would have made a more traditional console, like something a la the GameCube, for example. They would have made a more traditional console. I don't think they would have dropped out of the console business because they know all they have to do is like launch another handheld, and that'll help get them the funds to do the R&D for their next console system. They would have just. Because let's be honest with you. Like a lot of people do like the portable systems, but not everybody wants to play Mario Kart on a 3DS.
Right. And Nintendo's handheld systems kept a lot of these third-party companies in business. Square Enix was in trouble with Final Fantasy 13, but Bravely Default helped them out. Monster Hunter kind of helped Capcom out, but there's some other things with Capcom that kind of kept them stay up.
Nintendo did not help Capcom out with Monster Hunter.
I'm saying with 3DS, like kind of helping Capcom stay afloat, because a lot of Capcom's games that was coming out during the time of Wii U, they were doing a lot of ports of like the Resident Evil, and even you, LeRon, said that there was too many Resident Evil ports. Like Resident Evil 4 had been ported out to everything.
I think Resident Evil 1 though has more still.
Right. And
yes. Yeah. Wait. More. Yeah. More in.
Because there was the DS version where you swiped on the pad to use your knife.
Oh no,
to swipe
he's talking
your
about
knife.
the release of the same game, like of the GameCube.
Yeah, but I mean it is still the same game. It's just it just had a different.
There's two different versions. There's two different versions of Resident Evil 1 though. There's only been one version of Resident Evil 4, and it's been ported to practically every system.
Like 360, Xbox One.
Yeah, you got the
somebody's
original
grandmama toaster. It's probably on the Tesla car right now.
It's basically
original
Capcom
director's
Skyrim is that it's on everything.
Well, we're talking about director's cut. Then technically, there's 3 different versions of Resident Evil 1 out there.
Yeah.
Because the Resident Evil remake that launched on the GameCube. It's been ported to a bunch of systems, but it has not been as universally ported as Resident Evil 4 has. Resident Evil 4 has gone backwards to some systems that aren't even relevant and have come out.
That one came on Wii, and that was a surprise. It's like, wait, and it works.
So it's a thing. It's a thing.
Speaking of things.
That was a good question. That was a really good question.
Yes, Block. Thank you for our 20-minute discussion on this.
20 only?
Hey, so maybe the Boss Rush podcast should now just be called the Boss Rush Forum.
I mean, it might as well. Our next question comes from Jack Brow. He asks, what is your gaming accomplishment you're most proud of? Acquiring a Wii on launch day and acquiring an Xbox Series X.
Yeah, I was gonna say acquiring a PS5, a launch edition PS5, like for that week, because I didn't technically get it day one, but I actually had access to it on day one.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to say my biggest gaming accomplishment. I have to think long and hard about this because I've had some really good feel good moments and stuff like that. But honestly, when I was able to do an actual it's considered a speed run, but when I was able to actually get Super Metroid with all the requirements to get the best ending in a run, but also get every single item and device and still get that best ending, I think that's been my best accomplishment. I plugged a lot of time in Super Metroid.
100% under 3 hours.
Ooh. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to be real skilled to do that.
Yeah, there were times when I actually had to delete the save file and start back over because I knew I was slacking somewhere.
For me, it's not game wise, but actually getting a chance to podcast with Yacht Club for World War One, actually getting to talk to them about video games, how they grew up with games, and talking about Shovel Knight. That was really cool. I think that's one of my biggest gaming accomplishments. So, and also having my stories, my blogs feature on Venture Beat or Gaming Beat when it was out back while One Up was done. Those editors put my community blogs in the front for people to read. They actually posted why I disliked the Xbox 360 and it was it got some views. So that's kind of the game accomplishment that I'm happy to have.
Is it because it wasn't made by Nintendo?
No, it was actually the hardware. It was actually the hardware.
I'm just kidding. I'm just.
He's always complaining about the red ring death. He's
Yeah.
always complaining about it.
Yeah.
But I love the Xbox One. Jesse knows how I gush about the Xbox One, so I think it's way better than the 360, and I can't wait to get a Series X.
For me, I honestly think like I was trying to think of something as well, but like the only thing that really comes to mind is that first time that I got called in a nuke in Modern Warfare 2, like because you had to get I think 30 kills in a row without dying in multiplayer, and I did it legitly and like
Can I say,
on console,
Jesse,
and that was awesome.
Can I say, Jesse, your gaming accomplishment is beating just Resident Evil 4. I don't care if you don't like it or nothing, but you actually beat it.
No, well, and
that's all I care about, that you beat it.
Yeah, well, like the thing is, I'm one of those people that I really want Resident Evil 4 remade or like redone it, because I do like the story in it. It's the controls with that game. But
I think me and LeRon said we don't care for the remake. If they do Resident Evil 4, that's fine. But I want Code Veronica to be remade.
I'm surprised that's not next.
They just need to stick to the continuity in all seriousness, And the only reason, and honestly, the only reason why I think they even want to touch Resident Evil 4 is because like a lot of the Resident Evil fanboys just have like a giant boner for freaking Leon and Ada. That's all this is about.
It's gonna be like It's probably gonna be like Final Fantasy VII, where like, like it will probably happen, but it will take forever.
If they're doing the RE engine, please. I think they want.
Yeah. The RE engine, is saving Capcom a lot of space. But I don't know. I think I was about to say.
Code Veronica needs it because of the camera angles and the control. I had some problems with that on
here's the thing about it. It doesn't make sense if they took the time and remade Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3, using basically the same type of gameplay style as Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6. Yeah. They've got one game sitting out there that needs to get touched like that, and that's Code Veronica. And also the fact that like other games since Resident Code Veronica have pointed back to events historically in Code Veronica, so they need to get Code Veronica into more hands. The fact that they launched the Dreamcast and then I know it made PS2. Did it make it to Xbox 360?
No. It's only been on PS2 and Dreamcast.
Yeah, and PC of course. Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, Dreamcast is. Code Veronica is on PC. So yeah.
Okay.
So
it's also on Xbox via backwards compatibility with Code Veronica X, but
yeah. I thought Code Veronica X was a multi system.
Yeah,
I couldn't remember
because it was made for Dreamcast, but then when the Dreamcast died, they put Code Veronica X on. I remember I had it for GameCube. I remember.
Yeah.
Did they add something to it or just?
Yeah, I mean, there's some small changes, but
Code Veronica X had like an extra like 20 minutes of gameplay and
it was like a director's cut kind of version.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And it actually had a couple of different fight clips, like the first time Wesker and Chris mix up in that game. It's a much more involved movie scene.
Okay, because I'm thinking just like the original Code Veronica. That was just like the Dreamcast one.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, that's the only one I really played was that one. Because it was one of my favorite on Dreamcast, just because I loved Resident Evil so much at that time, though.
Hey Corey, what was your gaming accomplishment you're most proud of? I don't think I heard yours.
I didn't say it yet. I mean, getting all 900 Korok seeds in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
But no, I got the Seriously achievement in Gears of War pretty quickly. Which is like get 10,000 kills in multiplayer. But it was extremely difficult because their main multiplayer mode, you only had one life, and then you died, and then the rest of the match just went on until like the next match started. So that was pretty cool. I used to play a lot. Match? Yeah, 10,000 kills in one match. No, you had to do it over the course of like your time playing the multiplayer.
Right. Okay.
It was also the second game I got all 1,000 achievement points in, and the first one was Assassin's Creed 2. So,
Oh, nice.
so I mean, those are just two kind of whatever. Also,
yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to think of. Yeah.
Also getting that first moment of triumph in Destiny 1 that first year. Incredibly difficult challenge, but it was fun. Also, raiding in Destiny is also very rewarding.
Yeah. See,
Turns out I like Destiny, guys.
Well, and the reason I picked Call of Duty, like, and I think why I continue to play them is like a lot of the times they have like just insanely difficult things that you have to try to achieve in order to unlock like those little badges that you can use for, you know, in next to your name or whatever. And some of those that, like where you've got to, like I said, like I had to get the 30 kills without dying, and then you know, obviously you'd get a badge thing for that, for doing it. Or, or getting like 20 kills without dying, or 10 kills without dying 10 times, or whatever, like all those kind of like achievement things. Like there was a lot of those really, really difficult ones like that I actually unlocked, and gotten and over the years. And I think it was mostly in the Modern Warfare games, because those are honestly the ones I played the most. But
yeah. All right, our last question, guys, comes from Gio Bartholomew. He says, "Hey, guys and gals, new to the show. Your email is really hard to write out. Consider a change. Anyways, I love the casual nature of the show and that it doesn't always pertain to gaming, but mostly. My question is a non-gaming one. What is your favorite streaming service and why? Thanks for all you do." Thanks for writing in, Gio.
For me, it's Hulu. I like being able to catch the shows like the day after it comes out. Like I like their movie and anime selection, and their British stuff, and like some of the stuff that comes from Britain that I could go and catch it and watch. I enjoy also. But Hulu will be my number one. I would say I need to buy. Like I said, I want to get Funimation for Switch, because there's some anime that hasn't updated yet on Hulu. But yeah, I go to Hulu for my streaming stuff.
Yeah, I was also gonna say Hulu Plus for me as well. Like I cut the cord on cable a few years ago and stuff like that, and anyone that has like any of these new TVs and stuff like that, like the antenna is not the best, and you have to go out and spend it for a good HD antenna, you have to spend like a good like $150-$200. So you can get everything. So like Hulu's the lifesaver for me, because at least I'm able to like catch my TV shows like on an 8-hour delay after they broadcast.
Plus, I get to watch our Star Trek on there. So.
You're only watching the old school Star Trek, because like the new stuff, like not with Paramount Plus coming out.
I thought of CBS. Oh, they doing another one?
CBS All Access is being rebranded to be called Paramount Plus.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yep.
Yeah, because CBS did like a massive restructuring. They sold off their interactive, like they sold off CNET and Giant Bomb and GameSpot to Red Ventures, I think. So I know that from listening to the Giant Bombcast. I love that show.
Yeah,
me too.
and second to that would be Amazon Prime Video, which I know like I'm probably going to get some ire in the emails or in mentions on social media, because Amazon is the company everybody loves to hate right now. But as far as like Amazon Prime Video and stuff, like that's where you go when you can't find the shows on Netflix or Hulu. That's where you go, and that's usually where they're at.
Yeah, a lot of people like Amazon Prime, the video stuff.
People, I don't know. People hate Jeff Bezos because of the fact that he's rich. Hey
man, huh? I said, hey man, they're all my babies. Like I have all of them. I have Hulu, HBO Max.
Look, Amazon delivers my packages sometimes the next day. So whatever.
And
he's rich for a reason.
And sometimes you get the package you don't want, and it's a bonus.
Yeah,
right.
It's better than what you ordered.
I'm looking at you in that monitor of yours, Corey.
I know this one.
Yeah,
I did. Thank you, Jeff. Jeff and I are buddies.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
best friends.
I have the big streaming services though. So I have Hulu, I have Netflix, I have Prime, and I have Disney Plus as the elective because technically I took over my mom's Disney Plus because
What about Crackle?
it has its own place. It has its place. I do have access to Crackle too. I actually have an account set up through Crackle. Thank God you don't have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Huh?
My problem is, Crackle gives you commercials, and so it's my least watched one.
Yeah.
I don't have HBO Max.
That's my
Nothing on-
favorite.
It's nothing on there for me just yet. And a lot of the not Miyamoto, Studio Ghibli stuff I already own. So
Yeah, I just like it because it's got like it's basically they allocate like a whole bunch of stuff from all different services.
Mhm.
You've got Crunchyroll on there. You've got Cartoon Network. You've got the Studio Ghibli movies.
You got all the DC stuff.
You got all the DC stuff. You've got like everything. Like all these services are all in one. And like
is it that HBO and Warner got a deal for a lot of their stuff being on
Yeah.
on HBO?
I mean they are like they're owned by Warner Brothers from
I
what
thought
I
they-
understand.
I thought they
I
were
thought-
separate. When did Warner buy HBO?
I thought they're
Like-
part of the same thing.
Yeah,
I think
it is.
they're under the same parent company, just like
Yeah,
how
it's Time
just like how
Warner.
ABC,
Yeah.
just like how ABC is owned by Disney.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought HBO was separate. I thought that was his
No.
own company.
No,
Warner Brothers.
Everybody
Well,
owns someone.
it was like separate, but then because it's all under the same thing. That's why they changed to Max, is because
Okay.
they wanted to put all their properties all like have one area where everyone can go for all their properties.
Hmm. Which is smart.
So
right.
yeah, because they've like there's so much stuff on there, man. Now like there's so much stuff that like I just don't have the time to watch it all. Like all the South Park and everything's on there, and like just the anime stuff from Crunchyroll alone. There's so much stuff on there to watch. Like it's by far my favorite right now.
Surprised that Crunchyroll's not on a lot of. I think it's on PlayStation. Crunchyroll is and Xbox.
It's on
Yeah,
everything
well-
pretty much.
Well,
I
but not. It's not on Nintendo.
Crunchyroll is coming to PlayStation. Like they just got the deal for it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I guess I had thought it was already on there because I know it's on Xbox.
No, not yet. No.
Yeah. Well, guys.
As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, we reported on Crossroads that Sony's getting ready to completely acquire Crunchyroll.
Yeah. Because don't they already own Funimation?
Yeah,
They
Yeah.
want to be like the front.
the one stop.
Yeah, for
anime.
Anime.
Yeah.
I mean, that's smart.
So,
I mean, hell, Microsoft snapping up all these studios.
yeah.
all
I mean,
these developers.
they might as well. You know what I mean? So, I mean, mine right now, I guess it's Disney Plus. I really like The Mandalorian. I really,
Big shocker. Big shocker.
I
Disney
know.
Plus.
you know,
If Ed's the Nintendo fanboy, Corey is the Disney fanboy.
I know. Look, I don't care.
Can't help it.
Whatever.
Well, no, I know there's no shame for you guys. I know there isn't.
I like what really pulled me into Disney Plus though was the Disney Parks documentary that they did last year. The Imagineering story, which was amazing.
Yeah.
If you have Disney
Yeah.
Plus, you should watch it. You should definitely watch it. It's what 6-7 parts. It's really good. So
I like the Jeff Goldblum show too.
I,
That was really
I
good.
wanted to watch it,
I
but
loved it.
we didn't get around to it. But
It's
Hey,
good.
Hey, Disney, stop being sissies. Let me see Song of the South. I've never seen it, but I want to see.
oh gosh.
With all the problems with it.
Yeah.
No, the major problem is that it's a happy slave telling his owner's kids the story of Brer Rabbit and Brer Bear, and he's
Yep.
like happy to be a slave, and he sings or he sings Zippity Doo Dah. That's his like work song, and it's like, oh man, there's
That's where that song came from.
Yes.
I want to see it because you got to. Here's the thing about it: to be a person of color, you need to have access to both the good and the bad aspects of like your history and stuff like that. So that's what that is. And I know it's a stain on a lot of people's history. When I say a lot of people, I'm talking about in these cases of Sound of the South, like I know white people get like really upset and kind of self-conscious about how to deal with it and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a Gen Xer. We grew up with like the most unpolitically correct stuff, so it's not going to offend me. I want to just see it one time.
Yeah. I know Zippity Doo Dah in choir class we used as a warm up. So it was just like, I mean, because when your black teachers are teaching you this song, they not teaching you the history of where it came from. Mm-hmm. They're just like, it's a vocal warm up, and that's it.
Well, I wonder how many people even know. Like, I mean, like generally, like I wonder how many people know.
Probably not a lot.
Not a lot, honestly.
So, well, gentlemen, this has been the show. Sorry, Logan.
Yeah, it's been quite a show.
Yeah.
I want to thank everybody for watching live on Twitch. Remember, you can find us here every Saturday at whatever time we started today. What did we start at 1:30? Right here live. You can catch the show on Mondays on your podcast service of choice, or on our YouTube channel, or on our website. Check out our various family of shows. Ed, where can we find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at ThatBretcherCode. Check out Nintendo Pop Block on Mondays and Optional Opinion on SoundCloud.
Jesse.
You can find me almost everywhere as Phantom NXS.
LeRon.
All right. Same as Jesse. Catch me pretty much everywhere. Exodus 803. And don't forget to tune in Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Crossroads PlayStation Podcast.
You can find me at IamCloyingHD on Twitter. You can also find me on Tower Casuals, the Destiny podcast, Arsenal X. Like Jesse and I said, there's going to be some changes to that show, but we'll let you know that in the future. You can find all of our content on BossRushGames.com. Follow us on Twitter at BossRushNetwork. And until next time, we love you. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.